I am so excited to be sharing a message with you today that happened yesterday and today. I'm Terri Britt, and this is our Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. And wow, I got a cosmic 2x4, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. Let me allow some of the people in who are in that are coming in on Zoom. If you want to join us on Zoom on these weekly calls, you can get my Women Leaders of Love ebook and 3 guided meditations. It's called the Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle. And that will give you the link every week to come into these calls because people are flooding in right now. And I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to share this story with you, but I'm going to give you just a moment to let everybody come in. So while we're getting ready, I want to invite you to just take a few breaths, get here present. If you need to shut the door, shut the door. If you need to turn off everything, turn off everything. And what I would also say is if there's something in your mind that's got you consumed right now, just imagine, just take for a moment and imagine a big, beautiful rose and put all that crap in the rose. Okay. Just this giant rose, just say, okay, this right now, I don't need this. I don't need this at this moment. So I'm going to put it in this rose and then let everything go in the rose, everything, just anything that's in your mind, any concerns, any worries, because where the joy comes from is being present. So we want to get present for this call because it's a really cool message that's coming through today. So put all that crap in the rose, okay? And then take that rose and send it out into the universe. Blow it up like confetti. We're sending it back with love and say, thank you, but no thank you. This is not mine. I'm not willing to keep it today. And also the next step we can do is just take a moment and call back your energy. So often we're dealing with people, we're dealing with situations, and we spread our energy everywhere. So we feel depleted. So for a moment, just visualize this bubble above your head and call back the energy that you've spread everywhere. Call back your energy. Just say, I want mine. Pull it back into this bubble. And as it fills up, then allow that bubble to pour into the crown of your head, going all the way to your toes and to your fingertips. Let it go into your auric field around you and even down into your grounding below you. So you are fully grounded and present. Now I just realized I didn't hit the record button. So we're going to finally record this. So anyway, hopefully you're taking a moment to get centered and coming back into this space so that you can be here fully. So welcome to Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. I'm Terri Britt, and I have something to share with you. So yesterday, I have a group called the Worthiness Quotient. I have a digital program called the Worthiness Quotient. And part of taking the digital program is we have a private Facebook group. So the idea of it is that people can ask me questions and I give them points to follow, some coaching tips, whatever. So this woman, and she may be on here today, I don't see her today, she sends a message to me via Facebook saying, I have this question. So I'm answering it. And at the last point of it, I said, make your spiritual practice your priority daily. I do this daily. Well, right when I said that, it was so crazy. Right when I said that, I'm sitting in my living room. Across from me is a staircase that goes upstairs, and there are lights that come down the wall on that staircase. All of a sudden, the lights come on. I'm like, okay, there's no one here. And those lights just came on. I'm like, okay, I got it. So I wrote her back and I said, the lights just came on and this is a message. So I didn't think much about it. It's like, okay, whatever. Today, when I sit down to meditate, and again, remember the point was to make your spiritual practice your priority. I went to meditate and my phone rings. I look at it and I'm picking it up, and all of a sudden I look up and that light, row of lights comes on again. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting a cosmic 2x4 because I'm really being told, you know what, Terri, you've been doing so many other things lately, and I've really been focusing on getting my body strong. So sometimes that takes the precedence of my morning meditation. And then I'll say, well, I'll do my meditation when I get home because I do a workout class at 7:15 in the morning, and I've always done my meditation then. And so what I was being shown is get back to making that your priority. And I was so excited because I had just written a couple of days prior in my journal. I said, you know what? I need a miracle, God. I need something to get me excited again, get me motivated. Well, that did it. That showed me that, yes, I'm not alone. Yes, there's all this love around me if I will just pay attention and if I will stay in my spiritual practice, because this is what happens when you make your spiritual practice your number one priority. You're actually putting God first. You're saying, okay, I'm here to create a connection to myself, to this all loving energy of God. I'm here to create that connection, to receive guidance, to feel nurtured, to feel loved, to feel supported. And in that, we're raising our worthiness. We're owning our worth. When we say yes to our spiritual practice every single day, and we make that our priority, then we open up to miracles, like I mentioned just a moment ago. I mean, that was a miracle. The lights coming on one time was okay, but 2 days in a row at the exact moment of talking about meditation or sitting down in meditation, that to me was pretty miraculous. And as you can see, I'm still grinning from ear to ear. I mean, when that happened, ooh, this flood of energy and love just came through my whole body, because it was like, yeah, I remember this. I know this at my core, that I am not alone. And let me tell you, you aren't either. You're not alone. And I know so many of us feel that way. I was on a podcast yesterday, and that was one of the points that came up, as how alone I felt as a child, even though I had a loving family around me. At the age of, I want to say it was around 7, it might have been 8. I remember making a decision in that moment. I'd gone over to a friend's house. There was no one there. There was no one on the street. And I remember sitting on her front porch or her front lawn and thinking to myself, I'm all alone in this world. And I literally made a decision in that moment that I was alone. And let me tell you, when you feel that you are alone, you are going to constantly try to win love and approval. You are going to constantly be seeking love outside of yourself, because it is our nature to not want to be alone. We want to feel connected. We want to feel connected to the people around us. It's part of our survival instinct, right? So in that moment when I made that decision, that became my filter for the world. And I want you to just think about that for a second. Did that become your filter at some point, that you were alone, that you had to do it all by yourself? I even know that, in our world, we celebrate being independent. She's an independent woman. Well, a lot of times that means we take on the belief that we have to do everything alone. And that is not what is intended. That we are here to help and support one another. We are interconnected, but we forget that. And I forgot it. Okay. I forgot it. And what I now know after 20 plus years of doing this is that it was my aloneness that caused me so much angst, that caused me so much confusion and self-doubt and emotional chaos. Because I don't know if you can relate to this, but how many times have you thought to yourself, I need to do this? And then you go, well, I should do this. And you sit there and you have a battle within. Oftentimes, and most of the time, that's because we have these thoughts that we don't even realize that are there. Well, if I do it this way, then I will be okay. And what we're really seeking is someone to love us and to acknowledge us and to nurture us. We do things out of a codependent mentality. So when we can get into a place of, I am not alone, I am loved, I am nurtured, and I am supported, we can make decisions from truth, from a space of love, where we're no longer trying to prove our worth, and instead we're owning our worth. And as you know, if you've heard me talk about this a lot, if you're owning your worth, if you're treating yourself as if you deserve to be seen, loved, and nurtured and valued, then that's what's going to be mirrored back to you, because vibrationally, that's what you're emitting. But we have to get past this idea that we're alone. And let me tell you, yesterday, I was reminded you are not alone. So I want to talk about this today. Are you holding this energy of I am alone? I have to do everything on my own. And you're going to have to really kind of check in with yourself, because you may think to yourself, oh yeah, I ask for help and I do this and I do that. But it's really about that little kid inside of you. Does she feel alone? Does she feel she has to do it by herself? Is she open to miracles like I was open to yesterday and today? What does that little girl inside of you feel? Does she feel that she can be supported and nurtured and loved? Or again, does she have to do it by herself? Because you as an adult, you may think, I don't have to do it by myself. I'm worthy. I can ask for what I want. But if that little girl inside of you is holding a belief that says, I am alone and I can't be supported and loved, then you're going to be at odds with yourself. It's like the adult says, yes, I can be nurtured and loved, and I'm not alone, and I can be open, I'm open to miracles. But if that little kid inside of you says, no, I'm not, I have to do it all by myself, I am alone, then you're not going to have the things you want, the love, the support, and the nurturing show up. You're going to be at odds with yourself. We have to be in alignment for the things to show up that we're wanting to create in our lives. And if you have this sense that says, nope, I have to do it by myself, and the other part of you is saying, I'm ready to receive support, you're not in alignment. And that's going to create an issue for you. So that's the meditation I want to jump into today, is to look at that little kid inside of you and ask her, do you have a belief? Do you have something inside of you that says you're alone and that you have to do it by yourself? And you may think, well, I'm already working with guides. I'm already open to God's miracles, but maybe there's the next level. Okay. So I want you to do this with us too, because I know for me, when I first started this journey back in the 90s, I immediately began opening up to my guides, but I didn't realize how much support was really there for me until I started learning to surrender, to let go. And let me tell you, I'm still learning it. Okay. Every day I have to surrender and let go. My meditation this morning was let go. So it's like, okay. And that's because God's telling me, Terri, let go. You don't have to hold on to the controls. And that's my natural nature, is to go, I want to hold on. And so that's been my big learning curve through this whole lifetime, is to let go of the reins and to surrender so that I can be playful and passionate and fulfilled and peaceful and on purpose, right? So let's dive into this and see what's going on inside of you, so you can really open up to miracles. When you say, I'm not alone anymore, and I'm letting go of that belief, and I'm saying yes to being loved, nurtured, and supported, that's when the miracles show up, and that's when life gets good. So let's do this. Let's jump in and do this meditation. Let me make sure there's no one trying to get in the room. I think everyone is here. Okay, awesome. Oh, wait, nope, here is someone. All righty. So make sure before we jump in, I see someone is joining, coming in. Did you get in? Okay, so she's joining. Hopefully she's getting in. All righty. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into meditation. We're going to dive in here with the intention that we shift the energy around any belief that says you are alone and that you can't receive support, nurturing, and guidance from the universe and the people around you. I'm going to mute this one that just came in. Hey, Holly, welcome. I just muted you. So here we go. I want to invite you right now to just take a breath, hold it, and release. Let's take another deep breath through the nose. Hold it and release very slowly. Let's take twice as long to release. Let's do that one more time. As you're breathing in the energy, it's going into your brain and all throughout your body. Hold it and release. Let's take a moment to get grounded. So I want to invite you to visualize opening up the crown of your head. Let's invite the light of God, the light of unconditional love, the light of abundance to flood in. You can see it as gold or white, bringing it into the crown and into your face, really relaxing all of your muscles. Breathing into this as it settles into your jaw. And down to your neck. Feeling everything relax. Settling into your shoulders. Now down your arms and out your hands. And you can even imagine just kind of letting your hands release, letting all the energy flood out of the palms of your hands and your fingertips, everything that you're ready to surrender right now. Go ahead and let that release. Breathing. And now let's go back to the shoulders, bringing that light, the light of love, the light of God, the light of abundance into your heart. Feeling your heart expand open. You're getting into a receptive state. Bringing that light now down into your ribs, really opening up your power center. And now moving down into your belly. Breathing into this. Opening up this area of saying yes to creativity and to passion. Now moving down into the base of your spine. And moving into trust as we open this up. Now let that energy move down your legs, into your knees, into your calves, and your shins, and your ankles, and your feet, and let anything that you're ready to release move out of the balls of your feet and the tips of your toes. And send it down. Send it down to the center of the earth. We're sending it back with love. And now visualize that you're so open and you're so full of light that it is now flooding around you. It's like you're overflowing with energy of this beautiful light, and it's flooding all around you to wash your energy field around you, so that anything that is not yours, that is ready to be released, is flooding down under your feet and going back to the center of the earth. Breathing into this. This is what I call grounding in God's light. And now as you sit in this space, you're receptive and you're open. I want to invite you to visualize that little kid inside of you, that little 5-year-old coming up to you. This child is like the heart of who you are. And as you bring this child up onto your lap, just say, I love you, and I'm so glad you're here. And I want to have a real heart-to-heart conversation with you. And now look at this little child. And if you don't see her, that's fine, or him, if there's some guys here. If you don't see that child, it's okay. Just know that the child is here, because we have different ways of experiencing this. But I want you to ask this child, do you feel alone? And the kid may say yes or no. If you don't get an answer, you can visualize a rose in front of you. If it stands up, that's the truth. Yes, you feel alone. If it falls over, no, you don't. So you can do either one of these ways, or you can even have the child hand you a piece of paper and visualize yes or no on it. Do you feel alone? And if the child says, no, I don't, then celebrate yourself. Say, that is so cool. And you might even ask, well, are there some times that you feel alone? So you can ask that question. And now we're going to take that child or let that child take us back in time. We're going to go back in time to see where this belief came from. Mine came from making a decision as that little kid over at my friend's house. We want to go back to that place and see what was going on. So we're going to go down a staircase. And as we go down this staircase, we're going to go deeper into this meditation and go further and further back. So I want to invite you to imagine that little kid is taking you by the hand and you're walking over to this staircase and you see the stairs, there's 10 of them. So we're going to head down those stairs with the intention that we go back in time to when you made the decision or something happened where you felt alone. So we're going to start at 10. We're going to go down to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And we're going to stand here for a second. And again, breathing this in that we're going back in time. And we're going to go down to 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're standing at a door. Now we're going to open the door and you're going to walk through it. So when you're ready, I want to invite you to open the door and to step back in time. Now, at first, you may see darkness, you may not feel anything, and that's okay. Just give yourself permission to open up your crown again so that you're in a receptive state, breathing into this, knowing that you're safe. This is just to see what's going on in your subconscious mind. Think of it that way, that as we go back in time, we're going back into the subconscious mind. So just notice as you continue to walk forward, what's going on. Are you a kid? Are you a young adult? Are you an adult? Are you a baby? Are you a child in the crib? Where are you as you walk into this picture? And again, you may not see it. You may have more of a knowingness or a sensation. That's okay. There's no right or wrong. So just get a sense of where are you? And then have the inner child that is with you right now take you by the hand and go into this picture. Go into this picture and see what's happening. So if you are a little kid, then go up to that little kid and say, "You're not alone. I'm right here." You can even ask, "What is the belief you took on?" It may be something as, "I have to do things alone so I will get accolades." Okay, maybe you got a lot of approval because you were being a big girl and you got accolades. Maybe yours was like mine and it was like, "I'm all alone in this world." So, what is the belief you took on? And again, if you get stuck, remember to breathe, open up your crown. You may have a sensation that comes over you. You may feel something in your body. You may hear it in your ear. Don't question it, just go with it. What is the belief you took on? And I want you to take a look at how that belief is affecting your life. Do you still feel alone? Do you feel that you have to do everything by yourself? Do you feel you have to be independent to get accolades? Does it keep you from asking for what you want? I want you to really get clear with yourself on this because you deserve better. And so I want you to imagine all those pictures going into a big giant rose where you're putting everything, all the pictures of how it's affected you. And I want you to put that belief in that rose. You can even take that picture that you experienced from the past and put it in the rose. And I'm also seeing any guilt or shame, because a lot of times we hold guilt or shame because we think there's something wrong with us because we're not receiving the support, when in fact it's us who made that decision long ago to make ourselves alone. And then we'll feel bad about ourselves, saying, why doesn't something show up for me? Why am I not being supported? Why am I not having miracles? It's because we're the ones who've shut it down. It's not that the universe isn't trying to support us. So a lot of times we'll hold guilt and shame because of that. So put all that guilt and shame in the rose. You can imagine that rose is pretty full right now. So I want you to imagine, let's take that rose and send it out into the universe and blow it up like confetti. And then let's bring another rose in and see if there's anything else that needs to go into the rose. We've looked at guilt and shame and the fear of, of really letting ourselves be connected. You know, a lot of times when we feel like we are alone, we don't allow ourselves to be connected. So let's put that energy in the rose, that disconnect. Let's put all that energy in the rose. And as you're feeling this, I want you to just check in with your body and see, okay, where do I feel this energy of aloneness in my body? Is it like concrete blocks on my feet because I feel like I can't move forward because I'm supposed to be alone? That's the belief I took on. So if that's the case, take those concrete blocks and put it in a rose. Do you feel handcuffs? That no, I can't ask for support. I have to do it alone. Are you shackled? Take those shackles and put that in the rose. Maybe you see tape across your mouth saying, I have to do it alone. I can't ask for what I want. Take that tape off your mouth. Whatever you are experiencing in your body, I see it as visuals, but you may see it as dark spots. You may feel tightness. Whatever it is, I want to invite you to move that energy into the rose. Breathing into this. And let's take that rose now and send it out into the universe and blow it up like confetti. And as always, when we clear out energy, we want to fill ourselves up. So I want to invite you to bring in the energy of yes, the energy of yes and connectedness, the energy of saying, yes, I, I am not alone. I am loved. I am nurtured. I am open to miracles. I'm open to support. I'm open to guidance. And I want you to feel that energy of yes coming in to your body, filling up all those holes, all that energy that we just moved out. We've cleared out a lot of crap that was in your space. Fill up that your body with that energy now of yes, filling every cell, turning up the vibration, moving it into your fingertips, into your toes, all the way up to the top of your head and into your aura. I want you to just say yes, 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 yes. I am connected. I am loved. I am nurtured. And I am supported. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you feel this energy coming in, I want you to just feel the light and love of God, this energy flooding all the way through your body. Knowing that you are part of this energy. I want you to feel it. I mean, just saying it to me just almost brings me to tears. I want you to just say yes to it. Yes, 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 yes. I am loved. I am nurtured. I am supported and I am guided. And you can even add on that, and I am a miracle magnet. I just heard that. I am a miracle magnet. Ooh, breathing into this. Feels so good. Feels so, so good. And now I want you to imagine that you're coming back up that staircase with that little kid. And you're coming right back into this space. And I want you to imagine looking at that little kid right now and asking her, what do you need from me today? Beginning right now, where you really can feel connected and loved? Is it where you sit down, you commit right now to a spiritual practice every single day, where you sit down, you talk to your inner child, you open up to God, your guides, however you see it, and you open up and say yes, and you really make that connection. You run energy through your body, you clean up your beliefs. What does that little kid inside of you need starting today? I mean, you've just started right now, but what can you implement as your daily spiritual practice? Because remember, that is our number one mission on a daily basis. Because when you commit to your spiritual practice, you commit to unconditional love. What does that little kid need from you? Breathing into this. Again, if you get stuck, opening up your crown. What does that little kid need? And if you get answers and you start questioning it, stop the doubt. That's proving your worth again. It's time for you to own that you know the truth and you can stand by it. Because I know a lot of times we get answers and we question ourselves. So as you get that message, I want you to imagine you're doing this. You've already done it. You're feeling it. You're feeling joyful. You're feeling supported. You're feeling nurtured. You're feeling the universe really showing up for you. And you're really celebrating that you are sticking to your daily spiritual practice. So feel that energy saying, yes, 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 feel it. Turn up the volume and say, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the support. Thank you for the kick in the rump when I'm not doing it, to give me a sign like I got with the lights going on and off. Saying, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Breathing in, release. Breathing in one more time and release. And when you're ready, you can come back into this space. I'm really interested to hear what some of you learned about yourself in that conversation or in that meditation, because so often we don't even realize we take on this belief that I'm alone and that I have to do it by myself. I can't be supported. And then we wonder why. Why am I not receiving the things that I want? It's because we're not open to receive. We haven't owned our worth and said yes to that kind of love and nurturing. So I see Katie has raised her hand. So I'm going to ask you to unmute, Katie. And for you who want to ask a question, if you don't know how, this is only for people who are on Zoom, just so you know. And so if you want to be on this Zoom call on a weekly basis, you can get on our list by going and grabbing my Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle, which is free. It's terribritt.com/leaders. And then you get an email on the day of the call with the link. Otherwise, for you on Facebook, if you have questions, I'll come after the call and if I can answer anything. So Katie, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Terri. Thank you for taking my question. It's really more about this was so needed right now. And I've been having feelings of being alone and been triggered in the last few days. And so when I started this meditation with you, I just started sobbing and lots of pain came up. And also I got booted out. So I got down the stairs. I was a baby in the crib. I was scared. Nobody came for me. And then I just got booted out of your call. So I had to come back. I know, talk about the lights going out. They literally went out. So yeah, so when I came back on, it was putting things in the rows, and I had tons of angst and knots in my solar plexus area.
Wow.
And the problem, I know I have to work on this inner child, but it's not tangible to me.
Okay.
I have a hard time, although I talk to myself all the time, I have a hard time talking to this child or getting comfort from this child. So if you can maybe address that, maybe give me some
Sure.
tips on how to work with that, I'd
Well,
appreciate it.
of course. And I just want to say, wow,
Yeah,
congratulations for being so vulnerable. Okay.
thank you.
That you were willing to go there. That is so courageous. I can't even tell you what courage it takes to do that. So I just want to give you a big virtual hug.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
That is so huge. And to be able to say it and share it with everyone. Wow. I just thank you for being so courageous. You are truly a woman leader of love. When you got booted out as you were looking at the crib, what was the message you got from that? Did you get a message?
No, I just had such fear. I was so scared. And then I was totally alone.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, now I'm really alone. And so and then because I tried to get back on the call, I probably didn't wait long enough to get any message.
So I'm gonna turn this on its head for you.
Okay.
Okay. So you took it as though you were alone, right?
Mhm.
And but your guides, God, whoever you talk to, booted you off the call so that you could see you weren't alone.
Ah, okay. I like that. That's a much better
Isn't
message.
that cool when you think about
Yes,
it?
it is. Yes,
I mean,
thank
it's
you.
like you were not alone. They're trying to show you, hello, we're here. We're here. We're helping you out. And it's so interesting because originally, when after I had that vision of from me with the little 7, 8-year-old, whatever it was, I also know that as a baby, I was left in the crib a lot because that's what parents did a lot back then. They thought that was the loving thing to do. And what's so interesting about it is that when I went and looked at it, I saw that my guides were actually around me. And I didn't
Oh.
know it. So I want you to imagine right now, Katie, that you're going back in time to that crib. Okay. And I
Mhm.
want you to imagine that you not only survived, you're an adult, you've lived a life. And I want you to imagine that there is this beautiful light around you because if you had not been protected, you probably would have died. Okay. Because babies have to be picked up, they have to be nurtured. Right.
Mhm.
And so I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine and just play with it, okay? But I also want you to imagine that you're walking over to the crib and you, the adult now, you right now, you're picking up this baby. So I want you to imagine, even if you can't see it, I want you to imagine that you're picking up this baby and you're putting the baby on your shoulder. And it might be even better to put the baby in your arm as if you were looking eye to eye.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
And I want you to tell that little baby, I love you so much. And I'm here for you. And from this point forward, I'm here for you. And my guides are here for you. I want you to feel that. Okay? I mean, isn't that amazing? Can you feel that love opening up?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
suggest that you be with this right now, okay?
Yeah,
As it's
yeah.
talking. And I want to invite you to find, something that is symbolic of this baby, but to start having conversations with her every day. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to mute you and I'm going to lower your hand. Wow. It takes such courage, Katie. Just thank you so much for being so vulnerable. I remember years ago, my late husband was a former Marine. He was in Vietnam, and he wouldn't do a lot of the inner work at first. He did eventually. And I remember thinking to myself, it takes so much courage. He'll go fight a battle, but he won't look at himself. He won't go in. That's how much courage it takes. And it hit me. It's like, wow, I'm really courageous because I'm willing to look at my crap. And because I had this sense of I was so bad on the inside, and it was scary. It was so scary to look inside myself. But the more I tapped into that courage, the more I felt loved and peaceful and nurtured, and then became that change for my family. And I'll never forget when Power versus Force came out by Dr. Stephen Hawkins, and he said he did the map of consciousness where they measured energy and vibration and emotions. And what they found was that it went from 0 to 1,000, and shame was at 20, guilt was at 30, but it was at the point of 200 where you start bringing life force energy to you, positive life force energy to you. And that was at the point of courage. So, Katie, you were that prime example just now. Okay. You were that prime example. I said Stephen Hawkins. It was David Hawkins. I'm sorry. Stephen Hawking and David Hawkins. I've done that forever. It was Dr. David Hawkins, if you want to read the book Power versus Force. But that was the most important part of it, was the map of consciousness. And you can research it if you haven't heard of it. But it was at that point of courage that you start bringing life force energy to you. And it was only 200 out of 1,000. So when we are courageous to create a spiritual practice on a daily basis, okay, what we started off this conversation with, when we're courageous, when we really take the time to love and nurture ourselves, which goes against the grain of everything we've been taught. And even nowadays they say, put on your mask instead of, taking care of everyone else's at first, but we still have guilt about that. So we have to release the guilt around that. And when we have the courage to really love ourselves and stand in our truths, that's when we own our worth. That's when we become women leaders of love, and just taking the steps. So Katie, I just want to celebrate you right now. Everybody send her some love, because I know she was having a major breakthrough right there, and that is so cool. So who else has a question? Wow, that was tremendous. If you have a question, what you do is you go down. If you don't know how to raise your hand, you'll go down, and if you're on your computer, there's a little thing that says, there's a bar if you move your browser, and it looks like a little face with a hat on, and it says reactions. You click on that, and there's a bar that pops up, and then it says raise your hand. So if you'd like to raise your hand. If you can't find it and you're wanting to ask a question, then by all means, you can unmute yourself and say, hey, I don't know how to do this, because we've had that happen before. If somebody wants to do that, let me just see if there's anyone here that wants to add to this conversation. Did anybody have a real aha? Did anyone have this sense of, oh, I've been leading with this belief my whole life, and I didn't even realize it, how I've been living by this belief of I am alone, and therefore you could almost see this wall around you. I know for me, that's what happened. Yeah, I mean, when I started recognizing, oh, I'm alone, and I made that decision, it was huge. And I'll never forget, because the way this all happened for me, I was meditating one day on unconditional love, when all of a sudden little Terri, the little kid inside of me, showed up, and I'd never seen her before. So I started paying attention to my outer world and seeing how it was a mirror to my inner world of the beliefs I took on. And I became the divine mother to her. But at the end of the year, because what I heard when that happened that first day was, this is the beginning of your book, get up and write it, as I was saying hello to little Terri. So as I wrote this book, which was really my journal, it's called Message Sent. It was my journal of awakening. It's like a chicken soup for the soul, stories. But at the end of the year, I literally went into Barnes and Noble and said, what do you want me to see? And I stayed in that open space. I had my crown open. I'd kind of gotten grounded. I'm like, what do you want me to see? And I saw an arrow. I go in my head, I go down the aisle, then I see the arrow turning this way. So I go here, and it's going down, and now I'm crawling on the floor, and I turn, I felt the stop. So I turned, and I looked at this book and I pulled it out and it said Healing Your Aloneness. And it was by my old therapist from years prior, who I had never done any of this inner child work with. And I said, okay, God, what do you want me to see? And I get a page number. I open it up and it says the pathway to higher consciousness is the relationship between your inner child and your inner adult. What that higher consciousness is love, peace, compassion, passion, kindness, gentleness, forgiveness. It's all these higher level energies, right? And by loving ourselves into these energies, we heal our aloneness, because that little kid inside of us no longer feels alone, and we move into alignment with God, and we open up to receive more and more messages and guidance, kind of like what I got yesterday and today with the lights turning on when I sat down to meditate. So, and on and off, and nobody was there to flick them on if some of you missed the beginning of this call. So it is so important. That's really what we're doing. And when you look at everybody in the world right now, there's so much lack, right? There's division, you against me. That is from a state of lack. And that is from a state of not feeling worthy, which goes deeper into feeling alone. That we're all racing, we're all trying to get ahead, we're all trying to win at life. And when something goes against our beliefs, we want to battle, we want to fight each other, instead of saying, okay, you're really triggering me. I need to look at myself. I need to look inside of myself and heal what's going on, so I can love you and your path. I can love you and your pain. So this is where we're being called right now. This is why it's so important, as we started this conversation today about a spiritual practice. We right now, as women leaders of love, we are being called to step into that spiritual practice daily, to do this healing work, to really get grounded in truth and abundance and our worthiness, because that's how we end the lack. That's how we end the division. That's how we end the sense of you against me and competition and battle. That's how we end it. It starts with us. And that's why right now, you guys who are showing up here weekly on these sessions, on this Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays, you have no idea what you're doing in the sense, or maybe you do. You have the impact that you can make by standing in this truth and owning your worth and thinking of yourself. Every time I choose to love myself unconditionally, I am being a woman leader of love. I'm ending lack. I'm ending division. I'm ending this pain that we're seeing on the planet. I am doing my part. I'm being the change I want to see in the world. So I just want to commend you all for doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's see if anybody else has a comment. Anyone else has a question, raise your hand. We have about 10, 12 minutes left that I allot for this little call. If you want to jump in here and raise your hand, please don't be shy. Remember, courage is key. I also want to invite you, if you're wondering if you've really owned your worth, you can take the quiz, the worthiness quotient quiz. It is so cool to be able to take this quiz, and you just go to terribritt.com/quiz. And all of you on here, you might have taken it who are in the Zoom call. Let me just see. I'm going to just write it down right here. Oh. And I'll put it in the chat, and I'll come back and put it on the Facebook chat. So Sydney says, the belief came when my inner child was scolded in the moment she tried to express her feelings. How can I encourage her to speak up? Well, this is one of the things we really dive into in my Worthiness Quotient course, the digital program. And so you want to go in and look at the beliefs that little kid took on. So one of the things you can do is look at the belief. So that's obviously a belief, and know that if you are not speaking up, if that little kid inside of you isn't speaking up, you were given a voice. That's how you were created. So you were intended to use it. One of the things you can start doing to nurture her to speak up is to let her speak with you. Write to her daily. You can let her write back to you. Like I like to write with my dominant hand, and then let my inner child speak with my less dominant hand. That's a great way. That's another thing I talk about in the course. If you want to check out the course, you can go to terribritt.com/worthy, and you can read all about it. But So the way you do it is you start building that muscle of speaking by having a conversation with her, making her feel safe. A lot of times our inner child won't present itself or herself, or won't speak, won't do anything, because the beliefs have been, sit under the table, don't do anything. And so the more we can keep showing up, and this is another reason we want to build a spiritual practice, the more we can keep showing up, the more we can make that, let that child know that I'm here for you. I don't care if you talk or don't talk. I'm just going to love you and tell you what I see about you, and that you're so wonderful. That child will feel safe. And then that child will then start speaking up. It's when we don't feel safe, that little kid inside of us doesn't feel safe, that they shut down. So we want to create a sense of safetyness and love. Okay, here's some more messages on here. Victoria says, thank you, Terri, for healing the world through us. This is so beautiful and much needed. Yay. Katie says, thank you so much for your understanding and compassion, and for giving me a different message, one of connection. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, Katie. It's so funny, how we have blinders on, and we often feel that I am alone, when, like today, Katie, you said you got booted out of the meditation, and it was really your God, your guides, whoever you talk to, saying, Katie, hello, we're going to knock this off to get your attention, to show you, yes, we are here. And so if we can just look at it through the eyes of God, through the eyes of love, instead of the eyes of, oh, this is happening to me, if we can come from the perspective of, oh, what just happened? What just happened? Something's happening for me. Even in illness, even in money issues, like what is the universe showing you to make you go deeper into loving yourself? Because when you choose to love yourself, and you make that your number one priority above everything else, that you're going to move into alignment with God and the way you were created, that's when life gets good. That's when life is like, it's miracle after miracle after miracle. And even when things feel like crap, you're celebrating, because you're like, oh my gosh, because when you have that aha, and you spent the time in your spiritual practice, and you're loving yourself, and you get these messages, you go, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And it just becomes, you can be like me, you're grinning from ear to ear. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to take the blinders off and say, okay, so if I were to look at this through the eyes of God, through the eyes of my guides, the archangels, through the eyes of love, how would someone else see this differently? You know how when you're with your girlfriends and you may be seeing something and they're like, well, I don't see it that way. This is what I see. They give you a different perspective. That's what you want to do for yourself. Oh, I wasn't kicked out because I don't deserve love. I was kicked out to show me that I am loved, that there's a message right here for me that I wasn't even paying attention to. That's awesome, isn't it? Okay, does anyone else have anything they want to add? Let me just see if there are any other hands up. I am not seeing anything. So we're going to wrap this up with a little mini meditation. I want to invite you right now to just close your eyes and let's send love to each other. Let's send love to one another. Just imagine our hearts opening up, our hands full of light, and let's send love to every woman and person. I don't know if there's any men in here in this group, anybody who's watching on Facebook. Let's send love to each other. So we hold this space of love, this space of compassion, passion, joy, playfulness, purpose. Your purpose is that you are a woman leader of love. You are a leader of love. If you're a man, you are that person, and you are here to make a difference at this time on our planet. So let's just send so much love and light to each other, saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. To each other, thank you for being here. Thank you, each of you. Thank you for the light that has surrounded this space. And thank you, God, and all of our guides for being here and supporting us. And thank you for our little inner children who have felt so alone, and for showing up today and making that connection with us. Thank you to each of you. Just sit in this space of gratitude and abundance and joy. Allow this light to fill you up. Feels so good, doesn't it? Feels so, so good. Oh, when you're ready, you can come back into this space. I want to invite you to share this with your friends. Think about how the world would shift if we were all doing this. I mean, Katie, you today saw that you are, in fact, not alone, and your heart exploded open. Think as you get grounded in this truth, how your life is going to shift for each of us, okay? And then think about how that's going to trickle out as more and more people do this. So I want to invite you to share this with your friends, to invite them to come in and be a part of this healing group every single week, to just participate and watch the replays, whatever is right for them, because I know not everybody can be here this time of day, because my heart is in a space of calling women to really step up. It's time. It's time. We're in need of this. And I believe that we're all ready to do this. We're here to serve our purpose. So I want to invite you to just share, and then be that woman leader of love in your daily life, because the world needs you. It needs you to shine your light, right? So thank you. And I will see you guys here same time next week. And again, it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we're on Facebook and on Zoom. If you want to join us on the Zoom call so you can ask questions and be here live, go to terribritt.com/leaders. And you'll get my worthiness quotient breakthrough bundle, and get also in the list of this mailing to get this Zoom link. Also, you can just take the quiz if you want to do that, and go to terribritt.com/quiz and take the worthiness quotient quiz to see if you've really owned your worth. And both of those will get you the link for our next call. So y'all have a beautiful week. And let me just see, there's a couple of messages here. Tranisha says, I've been gaining so much confidence since following these sessions. My inner child is feeling safer and speaking up. However, it feels her voice is being bossy instead of confident. Could I be reading this wrong? Maybe she is bossy. Maybe she's here to be a boss. You know, Tranisha, you said you were here, you wanted to speak and coach. Maybe instead of looking at it as bossy, see if there's a label there. And I know, I'm pretty sure you've taken the Worthiness Quotient course, and in the session 4, we talk about labels. You know, there is a label here that you've taken on as bossy. Try flipping the switch on the bossiness, okay, and see what the truth is. Maybe she's being a leader. You might want to look at that and see. So play with that and see what comes up, because there's nothing wrong with being empowered like that. And you may have taken on a belief that being empowered is bossy, and that's wrong. So you want to let that go, right? So thank you for that question. And then this is from iPhone to everyone. I'm not sure who this is. I also wanted to say thank you for sharing your gifts with us. I just joined a few weeks ago, and my name is also Terri. So hello, and thank you for your generous sharing. Oh, yay, Terri. And you even spell yours the same way. So, and Katie says, feeling much better. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. And Sydney says, thank you very much. I'm sending you all love, and I will see you next week. And don't forget to share with your friends so we can create this movement as women leaders of love. Bye-bye, everybody.